How buying something as simple as a hat can help children battling cancer. Next on Carpe Diem. Hello and welcome to Carpe Diem. I'm Samantha Williams. Love Your Melon is a nationwide organization that is spreading across college campuses with a common goal. So far, Love Your Melon has donated over 90,000 hats to children with cancer and raised over $2.5 million for nonprofit organizations. Let's take a look at the efforts of the Love Your Melon crew at Montclair State University.
Love Your Melon is an apparel brand run by college students across the country, and their mission is to get a hat on every child battling cancer. It was started by two guys who went to school in Minnesota. So their names were Zach and Brian, and they had this idea that they wanted to give wool hats to all the children to keep them warm in the hospitals. So their business idea was to sell hats, and with the profits made from those hats, they could make another hat that was donated to the child. Love Your Melon has an overall theme of the crew members being superheroes. Recently, this past year, we have real Love Your Melon superhero costumes. So now there's a distinct Love Your Melon superhero that you're supposed to wear when you come visit any of the children. And when you hand out the thing, you say, like, would you like to be a superhero with me when you give them the hat? And then when they put on their hat, they feel like a superhero too. We're really excited for Melon Fest. We have 24 co-sponsors of different organizations that have all come together. We are going to have a bunch of events and music and just a lot of fun just to spread the mission of Love Your Melon, all the awareness of pediatric cancer, and just have a whole day of fun for everybody on campus.
People see us on campus or see us at different events, but they don't really know what we do. So we kind of just wanted to bring them together, show them what we do, who we are. We have different activities going on, like card making for the kids in a hospital. So next time we go to the hospitals, we can bring them different bracelets and pin the seed on the melon to raise awareness and the impact that cancer has on our community.
I'm in Sigma Pi, which is a fraternity on campus, and we work with other organizations and co-sponsor with them. And one is Love Your Melon. We brought a DJ, we brought a lot of our brothers out, so it's a great event to come out and just hang with the nice weather.
We have everything laid out exactly what we did, so we really hope for this to become an annual event, and we hope it's something that everyone looks forward to every year, a big Melon Fest at the end of March.
Thank you so much and have a great time.
I joined your Love Your Melon because the message behind the organization is the best message that you could ever hear of. You know, you're helping end pediatric cancer, you're helping children that are battling pediatric cancer put a smile on their face and to become happy again. My Aunt B, who's not really my aunt, but she's been like a mom to me ever since I was little, has been battling cancer since 2014. She was clear of it for a year, and then recently we just found out that she has it again, but now it's in her bones. She is stage 4. She had her boobs completely taken off. She has a green baseball cap that she wears. One thing that she's always inspired me from it is that her saying, "It is what it is." And ever since she says that, it just pushes me farther in school and in life, not give up, just the way she's not giving up on herself and cancer.
They started from 10 campuses. We're now on over 800 campuses across the country, and we have grown to over 35 people now. So where it started out as our friends, as we were more aware on campus and spread through social media, more people had reached out and just asked how they could get involved.
I think Love Your Melon can impact everyone just because everybody knows somebody with cancer. So the little things that you can go and do makes a big impact.
Love Your Melon is so important because it shows what a simple act of kindness does for those who need it the most. When you go to the hospital and you hand out those single hats to these kids, it makes their day and it makes them feel so much better, and it knows that there are people out there that they don't even know who are rooting for them. Every year we have 2 national Love Your Melon days. So one of them is Love Your Melon Day and then the second one is Superhero Day. And last year we got set up with Jackson. And Jackson was a little boy who was diagnosed with cancer 3 weeks after he was born. He went through treatment and all that, and he is now in remission. And his mom actually started Jackson Strong, a foundation for families who are battling cancer, and they donate money and supplies and anything that they might need to the family.
Joining us this morning is Jackson Walsh's mother, Tara. She is here to talk about Jackson's journey and her own foundation, Jackson Strong. Welcome, Tara. Thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So can you tell us about Jackson?
Jackson is going to be 18 months old on the 14th, and he is the kindest, gentlest, most outgoing, well-rounded baby I've ever met, and I'm not saying that because he's mine. He's so full of love, and he never cries. He lights up a room. Anybody who meets him falls in love with him. It's like he's an old soul, almost like he's been here before.
Oh. So can you tell us about his diagnosis that he had?
At 2 weeks old, we took Jackson for a well visit at his pediatrician's office. And as I dressed him that morning, I realized that brand new onesies that I had purchased were fitting kind of snug on his abdomen. And the reason that I had purchased new onesies was because he was so thin that I needed more newborn clothing. So I thought it was a little bit odd that overnight, you know, his shape of his stomach would change so much, but I wasn't stressed, and I knew I was going to see the doctor. And we went for our visit, and upon examination, the pediatrician, you know, looked at his belly and said, you know, why is his belly distended? And of course my reaction was, well, you're the doctor, I don't know, you tell me. We just kind of noticed this. And she mentioned that she was concerned and that she was going to call in the other pediatrician who is my son's primary. And for some reason, at that point in time, I just felt like a lead ball in my stomach. And I don't know if it was mother's intuition, but I knew that something was terribly wrong, and I couldn't shake the feeling. So straight from there, the pediatrician told us that they would like for us to go to the emergency room and have him checked out, in which we did. And he had an x-ray and an ultrasound to start. And they told us that his liver was enlarged, which was causing the distension in his belly, and that it looked like Rocky Road. But they were not going to tell us what it was that was causing it at this point in time, and they wanted to send us for an MRI instead. And after hours and hours of waiting and having an MRI, they came back with the results and told us that Jackson had neuroblastoma and that he was going to be transferred to Hackensack's Pediatric Oncology Unit.
So what is neuroblastoma?
Neuroblastoma is a blue cell cancer. It's most common, it's known as an infant cancer. It's most common in young babies. Often it happens to start on adrenal glands. It's a cancer that takes over, most typically, the sympathetic nervous system. In Jackson's case, his mass originated on the spine, but on both sides of the spine, also known as a paraspinal mass. He also had it within his adrenal glands, and the problem with neuroblastoma is most often when it is diagnosed, it is already metastasized, which is what had happened in Jackson's case, and it had infiltrated his liver, which in turn distended his belly.
And how is he doing now?
He is, let's see, January was 1 year of remission. He is so bright. His cognitive development is way beyond average. His fine motor skills are beyond average. His social emotional development is beyond average. But we are still remediating nerve damage from the spinal mass, and he is not walking yet. He has braces that go into his shoes that support his ankles because he has ankle weakness. He receives PT services 2 times a week through early intervention service to remediate low muscle tone within his legs. We're getting closer and closer and fully have faith that he will walk when his body has recovered from what it went through.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about the visit that you had with Love Your Melon? How did that go?
So Love Your Melon had actually reached out to us very early on, and they had sent us hats, and Jackson was so young and he was still in treatment, and they had mentioned could they come to see him. And I didn't feel comfortable at the time because we were worried about his immune system. But April came around and it was the Love Your Melon superhero day, and they reached out to us and said that they would like to meet our little superhero. And so we had them come to our house, and they brought Jackson Love Your Melon superhero hats and a Superman shirt, and the item mothers are always looking for, diapers. And they played with him. They were so warm and so mature for such young college students. Jackson loves company, doesn't matter who it is, but he really enjoyed their visit.
So now let's get into Jackson Strong. What is Jackson Strong?
So when we wound up with the devastating news that we did, we couldn't believe the outpouring from the community that we had, and we just had unlimited amounts of help and support, and people were looking to donate money to our family. And as we continued on our journey, we realized that that wasn't the case for everybody. So we thank God that Jackson's here with us today and that our story had a happy ending, but we swore that we would never let his journey be in vain, and that we would continue to pay it forward to other families who didn't have the support that we had. So the Jackson Strong Foundation was started last January, and our mission is to provide financial assistance to those impacted by pediatric cancer, as well as emotional support and continuing to raise awareness on the gross underfunding of pediatric cancer. So for example, we will pay rent or car payments, take care of utility bills, etc. We send care packages to children who are in the hospital for long stints with comfort items. We make sure to take care of the siblings as well as the parents, because often they are forgotten. And really it's just to put a smile on those who have really been impacted by such a devastating blow.
That's so great. I love that you guys are doing that. Thank you, Tara, so much for coming in. Unfortunately, we're out of time. But if you would like more information on Love Your Melon or Jackson Strong, you can visit www.loveyourmelon.com and www.jacksonstrong.org. Thanks for joining us this morning. For Carpe Diem, I'm Samantha Williams.